What's up, everybody? So I've been working out for a great deal of time, very long time. And in that time, I've learned some things that work, I've learned some things that don't. And then just sometimes over the course of when you're doing something, sometimes you tend to lose focus of the little things along the way that can get you where you need to be. So that was the issue with my chest training. I was wondering why I noticed that strength-wise, I felt like I was able to push more weight, but it didn't feel like, excuse me, my chest was getting any bigger. And I think sometimes that kind of getting back to the basics can be the way to look at things. So what I found was that I was actually getting away from one of the basic tenets of even training, which is focusing on the maximal and the best contraction of the muscle. And so that I think that's what was missing and lacking in my chest training as of late. So what I want to do with this workout is I'm going to show you what I'm doing, not only in terms of actual movements, but the changes that I made in my workout in order to address this issue that I noticed. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, now for dips, what I actually have found is that, and you'll notice on the video, I'll be kind of even leaning forward even within the device. So if you're sitting straight up, whether you're doing them like on a bar or whatever, and you go down, see if when I'm straight up, I have found that it's more in the triceps and less in the lower chest. And this is, for me, particularly right now, because that's an area of focus. So if I'm leaning forward, so here's, and as you can see, I'm gonna turn a little more here, all right? So as I'm pressing down, I am leaning forward, I'm gonna lean even a little more. I get a much stronger contraction here in the lower chest than I do in the tricep. So when you see me leaning forward on it, that's why, because over time of kind of doing that exercise, I was noticing, next time I'm like, man, I feel it more so here than I do here. And then experimenting and trying to see what works best for me and my body, find that leaning forward works a little bit better. So that's what I'm doing on the press now. Man, sorry, I'm going blank there. So try that out and see if that works for you. If you're having trouble kind of differentiating and concentrating more on the chest than you are on the triceps. So that's what's happening on the dips, and I did want to take a quick moment to kind of explain what was going on in the video in case somebody may have had questions down the road. All right, now as I start my first set, like I said, without repeating myself, but one of the things that I do try to make sure that I'm doing is that I'm getting a good range of motion up the top. Meaning that when I come up, like at the top of this rep here, I don't want to shortchange that because that's helping to kind of get to get a stretch there in that lower pec. So when I bring that weight down, I can get a better contraction, and that's what I'm after because I'm really trying to bring up my lower chest. So that's the thing that I'm focusing on as I progress through these sets. But any time I do a chest exercise, particularly on the lower chest. Okay, so here's what I wanted to actually tell you real quick as we go into this chest workout that you're about to see, or that you're seeing. One thing that had happened to me is that over the course of the last several months of working out, particularly like chest day, I was moving more weight and even easier, but I wasn't feeling the effects in terms of soreness, and that's kind of how I gauge things. If I'm sore, not painful, but sore, then I feel like I'm moving in the right direction, and that hadn't been happening lately. So it was weird. You know, even working out all this time, sometimes there's always something to learn, and that's the great thing about this fitness journey. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about and what you're going to see here as I go through these various chest lifts, particularly the stuff on the barbells, because this is going to apply to either one, or well, all three: incline, flat, decline. So if you can envision, this is why I was holding the pool cue. Some of you may be wondering. You can imagine this is the bar, all right? So I'm unracking the bar. And you know, normally you come down like this. You just, and see, this is the trap that I was falling into. I was more concerned about using my chest to move the weight, and kind of got away from actually focusing on the contraction of the muscle itself. So what I realized, and it was that once I get to because my concern was always, and how I was taught to bench, was to always be concerned with locking out at the top, because if you lock out at the top, that engages too much of your tricep and your front delt here. So if you're locked out, you know, as you can see, you're getting a contraction in my tricep right there. So when I'm always kind of like that, which is okay, but what I found is I was actually cheating myself out of getting maximal chest contraction there. Okay, so again, so I've got the bar here. All right, so I'm unracking it, and as you're coming up, found is when I get to the top, instead of like doing like this, I know it looks kind of like the same, but I'm really not doing the exact same thing. If I pretend like I'm trying to bring my elbows in to touch each other, I'm getting a way better contraction than I am if I'm just pushing the weight. See, this is me just pushing the weight, as you can see. Now, this is me trying to, even with the weight on, I'm getting a much better engagement of my chest than just pushing the weight. So what I found, this works, like I said, on all three lifts, and me just making that tiny little change really took my chest workout to a new level. I was actually more sore than I have been in months working with my chest. So there's always something to learn. So I really wanted to kind of drive that point home. Let me get up. I'm just laying there. It's kind of weird. I wanted to drive that point home as we're going through this chest workout. All right. So let's put into practice what I just said. Now, this 135. Now, this is a little lighter, but as you notice, like my arms are going completely straight at the top of the movement, but even though they aren't straightening like the weight, you know, it's not resting at the top of the movement, which would, in fact, put a lot of emphasis on the tricep. By me doing it at the top, I'm getting a good contraction in those pectoral muscles and allowing the movement to be more effective. Because like I said earlier, I was just getting really focused and worrying about just moving the weight from point A to point B X number of times, and just kind of getting just dogmatic with counting reps instead of focusing on the quality of contraction. Now, that's even more important for me when I get into some of the heavier weights for me, which for me is like 225 and up. Because at that point, it's paramount that you focus on that, on trying to get as quality of contraction as possible, because doing that, focusing on that, is ultimately what is going to allow you to move the weight effectively, to make the movement even worthwhile performing. So when I get to these heavier weights, my concentration and my focus has to be at its highest, you know, particularly with this 245. And even as I'm about to unrack it here in a minute, you gotta let me get ready, because for me this is pretty heavy. And this was actually, I hadn't too long actually graduated to this weight. So once I unrack it, let's go. Hey, check the camera. Wait, here it comes. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So, even as I'm pushing the weight up and I am struggling, see, even at the top there, I'm still pushing through my chest to try to get that maximum contraction. Now, even, and the same thing applies as you move on to the incline bench. It's really the same mindset, and for me, even more so, because the one time the upper chest was an area of focus for me. Now, I'm so into it, trying to push through my chest. You can see I'm extending my fingers. Now, I can assure I still have a good grip on the bar, but still, you might not want to try that at home. The good thing is I can handle 135 pretty well, so it wasn't too much of an issue. But me just doing that with my hands, it helps me increase the mind-muscle connection, and then that allows me to better get a better contraction at the top of the movement. Now, I don't do that through all of my reps, but I will do it more particularly at some of the lighter weights, not so much as I get into some of the heavier weights. I think just because then I want to make sure I'm maintaining a proper grip as I do pyramid up with some of these heavier weights. But even with that, just like I said on the flat benches, you can see, even though my arm is straight right there, that's where I'm getting the best contraction. And I said I don't pause at the top. It's vital, and I know I keep harping on this, but I just want to make sure that I'm really driving that point home, that I'm not resting at the top to put the emphasis on more of the tricep and even more so on the front delta, even with this 175. So try that with all of your pressing movements and see if that doesn't make a difference. All right, now I'm coming back over to the machine decline press. Okay, first, don't make my feet. I tend to extend my feet because how the chair sits, the seat actually kind of sits at an upward angle. So when I sit in, my legs kind of, I don't want to say they touch the ground, but I will keep them up. As weird as this sounds, for me, doing that allows me to focus on just focusing more on trying to put all my focus into contracting the lower pecs. So that's kind of why I do that. It's akin to, if you see some people, they may do flat bench with their legs up in the air. So it forces you to focus because you don't have your feet there to use some of those ancillary muscles. It just makes you focus even that much more so. So that's kind of why I was doing that. But even with that, the focus, even with this machine press, is still exactly the same. My goal is still to get maximum level of contraction possible while still making sure that my form is still solid. And see, that was what I was talking about. I couldn't get out of the seat because of the way it sits. That's why I was kicking like a 3-year-old. Because and I don't think I've touched on this earlier, but the lower chest is an area now that I really have to focus on because it seems to be, in terms of my chest, it's the one that's lagging behind. So I've added more lower chest exercises to my chest routine to try to bring this area up to the rest of my chest there. Oh, and let me say this. I left this part in here as a PSA to all of us gym goers. I mean, most of us experienced lifters do know this. To re-rack your weights after you're done. There may be some beginners on here, some people who are newer to working out and everything, but it's just gym etiquette to do this sort of thing. Your fellow gym citizens will appreciate it, and it's just the thing to do. So I left this in here to let you know that I do adhere to proper gym etiquette. I'm not one of those guys. And I have a towel at the top there. I can always wipe off my machines, because there's nothing worse than walking up to a bench and seeing someone's nasty sweat on the machine. So, making sure that we properly practice gym etiquette. Just my little tip from me to you. All right, guys. So there you have it. Now, there's one of my chest workouts that I've been doing here as of late. Let me know if you try some of the suggestions that I gave in the video, how they worked for you. If they worked for you, just let me know. I will be back with more videos very soon. I'm making it my goal to upload more consistently and regularly to this channel, now that I'm able to get back in the gym as normal. So definitely stay tuned for that. But that's all I've got. So thanks for watching. Be back with more videos real soon. Peace.